Yeah, good morning, Renan. I checked your True assembly. Yeah, it's perfect. Hello, Renan.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Students are still joining. So let's start. Yesterday we stopped here. Renan, is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Renan. So yesterday I explained you different type how the different types of grinding and how the mechanisms are. And yesterday I also told that there are two types of grinding, that is open grinding and precision grinding. Precision grinding means the grinding which is done on the machines. Open grinding means very open. You must have seen uh, that students are doing with a flexible grinder. So that is called as the open grinding. Then these were some wheels, out of which this wheels is used in open grinding. This can be very easily mounted on the grinder, that is hand grinder. Hand grinder is nothing; it's a kind of a drilling machine only. Uh, so on the drilling machines, you have to just mount this wheel, grinding wheel. That's all. So if you mount this wheel on the drilling machine, you can grind it, and then it can be called as a flexible grinder. Then this type of grinding wheels are also used. These are called as the super abrasive wheels. Super abrasive wheels, but you can skip this slide because this is not important from examination point of view. This is how your wheels will look like. The grinding wheels will look like this. Now, basically, there are two types of grinding wheels. One is aluminum oxide, and another is silicon carbide. One is aluminum oxide, and another is silicon carbide. Other wheels are also used, like two wheels, two more wheels. That is, one is CBN, and another is diamond wheels. So altogether there are four, but two wheels are commonly used. That is aluminum oxide and silicon carbide. Now, out of which one is for the ferrous and another is for the non-ferrous. Ferrous means having iron, and non-ferrous means like aluminum, copper, that is brass, bronze. So generally for the ferrous we use aluminum oxides, and for the non-ferrous we use silicon carbide. And then when to use your CBN and when to use your diamond wheels. So CBN and diamond wheels are also used for ferrous and non-ferrous, but they are used for hardened components. So the components which are hard, that is after heat treatment, if you want to do grinding, uh, then we use this silicon carbide and um, diamond wheels. So again, in open grinding, you have types. That is swing type, non-swing type, then flexible, non-flexible, etc., etc. Like suppose you must have seen in many of the workshops we have pedestal grinder, isn't it? So pedestal grinder it comes under the category of open grinding. That is, you go to the machine, that pedestal grinder, with a tool or some component, and you grind it. So what is the use of this open grinding? You can use for grinding castings. That is castings, your screws, your flashes, your runners or gate. Mostly many of the times flash which comes in the casting. Flash is nothing but the extra extra material which has come out of the parting lines. That is what is called the flash. Then weld grinding, like weld in order to make it even, we grind it. Then this is commonly used. Tool sharpening, that is your drill grinding or your HSS tool builds, single point cutting tools. Those kind of tools can be ground. Then miscellaneous rough grinding, like suppose if you want to cut something, so that also can be ground. So this all this comes under the offhand grinding. Hmm. And in offhand grinding, you can have higher material removal rates, and the tolerances here are not closed in offhand grinding because basically it is for the rough grinding. So usually we do finish grinding on machines only. That is called as the precision grinding. That is what is called as the precision grinding. If you have any doubt, you please ask. Huh? Students are confused with the links or what? I'll be using the same link now because that was the request from your class. I'll again post it. I already posted it, but still some students are asking. I'll post it again. So I'll be using the same link here after. That is yesterday's link because that was a request from the CR on behalf of college class, entire class. Then precision grinding is again classified into cylindrical grinding, then surface grinding, and two line grinding, then centerless grinding, and some SPMs, that is special purpose machines like say crankshaft grinding or cam grinding, and so on. Actually, I was calling Sahil just before the class, but he was not picking up the uh, phone. So this precision grinding is very important, and in which all grindings are important. Like in precision grinding, cylindrical grinding, grinding, tool and cutter, centered grinding. Except this SPM, that is a special purpose grinding, because these are for the specific product, like crankshaft grinding or your camshaft grinding. So this is how it is classified. So this chart you can remember. Precision grinding is classified under cylindrical grinding, surface grinding, and centerless grinding. So these are the three which I told you is really important. So again, in cylindrical grinding, you have external cylindrical grinding, internal cylindrical grinding. Then in surface grinding, you have um, peripheral grinding, and again in surface grinding there are four different grinding which is not mentioned here. Then in centerless grinding, again you have external centerless grinding and internal centerless grinding. Then external cylindrical grinding again you have traverse and plunge. In internal you have rotating work and stationary work. When generally nobody uses this stationary work, so this can be cancelled out. Then in centerless grinding you have in external you have through feed, in feed, and in feed. So all these are important from examination point of view. All In surface grinding, again there are four types. That is, one is your uh, reciprocating table and vertical spindle. Second is reciprocating table and horizontal spindle. Then third is rotary table and vertical spindle. And fourth is rotary table and horizontal spindle. Like that, there are four types of surface grinding, and all four are used. All four are commonly used. Hmm. So in cylindrical grinding, I show you the pics, before in the beginning of the lecture also, that your wheel is rotating and your workpiece is also rotating, and wheel is moved across the workpiece parallelly. Again, machine time calculations के लिए you need to remember the cutting speed, then feeds, and the depth of cut. But no numerical will be asked on grinding. So you have here in cylindrical grinding, you can do plunge grinding uh, and traverse grinding. In plunge grinding में क्या करते हैं? दबाते हैं. We press the grinding wheel across the workpiece, and the form is given to the grinding wheel. So whatever form is there on the grinding wheel, that is reproduced on the workpiece. Of course, you will have to rough turn or rough mill, whatever you say before. You cannot generate the entire surface because grinding is a slow process. So in plunge grinding, whatever shape is given to the grinding wheel, that is reproduced on the workpiece. And in traverse grinding, the grinding wheel is fed uh, axially across the entire length of the workpiece in case of traverse grinding. Obviously, the workpiece support. So, workpiece is usually fed or usually loaded between the center, and if you are loading it between the center, then you have to use a carrier, driving carrier on the live end. This driving carrier is also called as a dog. So, driving carrier is used so that your workpiece will rotate uh, with the machine speed. Otherwise, if it is mounted between center, there is a chance that your workpiece will slip and workpiece will not rotate positively. So that's why all between center jobs has to be rotated with the help of the driving dog. So that is between centers. Then you can also, hold your workpiece in chuck and center, and usually the chuck is three jaw chuck. You can, this is same like your lathe machine. See, grinding, basically grinding machine is, it looks like a lathe machine only. Hmm? With some modifications. You can also use faceplate like your lathe machine. Faceplate is generally used for mounting all kind of workpieces. Just a minute. This we are done. This we are done. I think I have gone a bit ahead. Yeah. So we are here. So this is how cylindrical grinding is done. Now here the component is mounted between center. See, this is between center. This is between center. The grinding wheel is fed here and then it is moved. Uh, Most of the time the workpiece is moved longitudinally. Here again, The grinding wheel is fed like this. Here also, the grinding wheel, instead of grinding wheel, the component is moved. And this is not a form grinding. Remember, here the workpiece is tilted at an angle. Workpiece is tilted at an. This is one way of doing taper. If not, then you can give the taper angle to the grinding wheel. See, this can be done by three or four ways. Say one is you can tilt your workpiece. Second is you can give the taper angle to the grinding wheel. Or third is you can rotate the grinding wheel itself, grinding like workpiece. So three methods. Then these are the type of the plunge grinding. Plunge grinding means the feed is given radially, and the workpiece is not moved in axial direction. So plunge grinding is always faster, provided your machine is capable enough to take the load. So see now here grinding wheel is plunge against this. Here also grinding wheel is plunge against the workpiece. Same thing here also. The taper angle is given to the grinding wheel. This particular form is given to the grinding wheel and it is fed. Here now this spherical surface is being ground. So the profile is ground to the workpiece and its phase is fed radially inside and so on. So this is what is your traverse grinding and this is what is your plunge grinding. These are the different movements, that is how does the grinding wheel moves. How does the grinding wheel moves? Like say here now it comes inside and it goes like this and it returns. I said and it repeats and it repeats. Not important from examination point of view. Now these are all seen. Now this is exactly like your lathe operation. Exactly like your this is your CNC grinding wheel. But you are using high speed tool or you are using carbide tool in lathe machine. Here on grinding machine you are using a grinding wheel which has been dressed like a cutting tool. So there is a point here. There is a point here and then it is moved across the workpiece everywhere. It is moved across the workpiece. This is actually an example of CNC grinding machine. CNC grinding machine. So this is how see now plunge grinding is useful if you know you have to do mass production. That is number of components are more, accuracy required is more, hmm, and you have shapes like this. You have shapes like this which cannot be produced for your normal flat grinding wheel. Now see this particular workpiece has so many contours and so many shapes, so which cannot be used by our normal grinding method. You'll have to change so many grinding wheels. So what you do in this case, we take a grinding wheel having you know more width, then we raise this shape, this shape. We call this as a male shape. Then we raise a female shape on the grinding wheel here, and then we plunge across. And we plunge across. This plunge across. Generally, we don't use grinding for non-cylindrical workpiece. Cylindrical grinding, I am talking. Now, as I told that internal grinding is very very difficult. And generally, we do it above 25 mm. We do it above 25 mm. If the bores are above 25 and if you want to do it below 25 mm, then we use a special machine that is called as the jig grinding machine. That is called the jig grinding machine. For 5 mm or for 10 mm or even 4 mm hole also can be ground on jig grinding machines. And below 4 mm if you want to do, then there is a separate technology. There are reamers available or we do it on wire cut machines. Again, internal grinding you have to be very careful. In internal grinding also you can do it by two methods, that is traverse grinding or plunge grinding. Obviously your grinding wheel has to be smaller than the whole diameter is quite obvious. As I said, generally the workpieces are rotated. But if you don't want to rotate the workpiece, that is, if you want to keep the workpiece stationary, then what you have to do, whether it is internal or external, what you have to do, let's talk about internal. Then what you have to do, your grinding wheel must be rotating. That is your internal grinding wheel that has to be rotating. And second thing, your grinding wheel must rotate orbitally. Orbitally. I hope you are understanding along the bore, along the bore, so that it will grind the entire periphery of the workpiece. This is used generally in special. These are all special grinding machines, SPMs, used for special, as a, special workpieces. Again, holding devices can be chuck, displayed. Magnetic chuck also can be used, but these are magnetic chucks are used for lighter workpieces. Cannot be used for heavier workpieces because magnetism is not strong enough to hold the heavier workpieces. Moment you apply the cut, it may
Hello,
rotate,
sir.
but yes, yeah,
Sir, your voice
yes.
is cracking.
Yeah, what happens if you are using magnetic chuck? I hope it will be better now. If you are using
Hello,
magnetic,
sir.
if you, sorry,
Sir, can't hear you clearly. It's cracking a lot.
uh, is it okay now? Hello,
No, sir.
no, just a minute. Now it should be fine.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, now it is fine, no? Now it's perfect. Hello, now the voice is clear, no? Now, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, is it clear now?
Yeah, now it seems fine.
Yeah. Okay. So as I said that for the internal gear, suppose if you want to keep your workpiece stationary, then your grinding wheel uh, is rotating, and plus the grinding wheel should move along the periphery, along the surface of the hole. That is what is called as the orbital movement. Orbital movement. If you don't want to rotate your workpiece, and usually the workpieces are held in chuck and faceplate, some odd shaped components, square workpieces. That is, you have outer profile square or hexagonal, and inside you have hole. Uh, so that can be holded on faceplate. Magnetic chucks are useful for lighter jobs and not for the heavier jobs, because heavier jobs can fly off if the speed is increased. If the speed is increased, or even if the depth of cut is increased, the workpieces can fly off and can create an accident, can cause an accident. Then you can also do threading, hmm, that is thread grinding. As I told, thread grinding is performed
if the threads are hardened. Hmm. See, most of the times we don't harden the threads. Like suppose you have a component, this is a component, or like a sharp kind of things, and you want to harden it. So what we do, we mask these threads before you send it for the heat treatment. We mask these threads, masking. We mask this thread with the help of asbestos material. And asbestos, as you know, it's a heat resistant. So wherever it is masked, that much portion will not get heated. And heat treatment ka principle is what? If it is not heated, then nothing will happen to them. So that is one way. Second way is you apply a copper sulfate paste, a paste of copper sulfate, CuSA4, on the portion which is not to be hardened. So like now threads, if I don't want to harden it, then I'll apply copper sulfate solution here, CuSA4, so that this remains unaffected. But now suppose if you want your thread also to be hardened, then definitely after hardening, this profile will get damaged, will get distorted, it will also get oxidized, and then it cannot be used unless and until it is finished. So you have no choice but to go for grinding, because since it is hard, you cannot uh, touch up on lathe machine. So normal cutting tools will fail. So you need to go for the grinding wheel. So in such a case, grinding wheel may there are two types. One is traverse and another is plunge grinding. Traverse grinding is done like your normal, you know, thread cutting operation, which is done on the lathe machine. Like assume that this is a tool. That is assume that this is a lathe machine on which you are cutting the threads. So on the lathe machine, instead of now tool, single point tool, you have grinding wheel. Only difference is what? The grinding wheel here also is rotating, whereas in lathe machine, the tool is fixed. So this is one way. And if you want to do faster, then you can give the shape, that is a dress. We can dress the grinding wheel as per the thread form. Whatever thread form is there, that can be given to the grinding wheel, and then it is plunge inside. And it is plunge inside. This is plunge grinding. So this is faster plunge grinding. But you will adopt this method only if components, number of components are more. These are some examples of internal grinding machines. Like this is a workpiece. This is a wheel. hmm, Workpiece is rotating. Grinding wheel also rotating. And suppose if the workpiece is to be hold stationary, then apart from rotation of the grinding wheel must have orbital movement also. Orbital movement means now grinding wheel will move uh, across the circumference of the bore. This is an example of the plunge grinding, internal plunge grinding. This is an example of the internal profile grinding. Internal profile grinding. Like this now, the shape is given to the grinding wheel. Shape is given to the grinding wheel. Then grinding wheel is taken inside here. Workpiece is rotating. Grinding wheel is also rotating. And then this grinding wheel is plunged. This grinding wheel is plunged. So this is an example of profile grinding. I hope it is clear. This is still more clear. Hmm. That is, the sections, cross sections are taken here. So traverse grinding means now grinding wheel is rotating. See, this is the rotation of the grinding wheel. At the same time, the grinding wheel is moving also. grinding wheel is moving also. So this is traverse grinding. Here this is plunge grinding. Plunge grinding में क्या करते हैं? Grinding wheel is not moved traverse. It is just plunged. Hmm? And then this is a profile grinding. So the profile is ground to the grinding wheel and then it is plunged. So I hope these pictures are clear. Now this is your surface grinding. Now what is the type of this surface grinding machine? Generally this is most commonly used machine, surface grinding, that is reciprocating table. That is the table reciprocates this direction, and horizontal spindle. Spindle of the grinding wheel is horizontal and the table is reciprocating. So in same you can have vertical spindle also, like reciprocating table and vertical spindle. Now in the same configuration, that is say horizontal spindle, you can have rotary table, that is the table is rotating. Table is rotating. So in rotary table, horizontal spindle and vertical spindle. Rotary tables are used for mass production. Mass production. That is say if you have say 50 pieces, say 50 bushes whose face is to be ground. So all those 50 pieces can be kept on the table and then table is rotated. At a time you can grind so many pieces, 50 pieces, 100 pieces, depending upon the size of the table. This is not important examination point of view. Hmm. They are just given an example, of how to grind the balls, So there is a special kind of fixture here in which these balls are kept, hmm, and the balls are being ground. So this is what is your kind of a rotary table. Now these balls are used, you know, in your ball bearings. Ball bearings. There are many companies who are only doing the balls. Again, centralized grinding is also important from examination point of view. Short note, 5 marks. So advantages of centralized grinding. Now so far whatever we discussed, cylindrical grinding and surface grinding, that was not for the mass production. But then what happens suppose if you want to go for the mass production? Like you have say 1,000 shafts to be ground or 1,000 bushes to be ground. Then our conventional method of grinding will be very time consuming. So in such case, you do centralized grinding. No doubt the accuracy of centralized grinding is little less than your external or internal grinding, but you can very well grind it in 10 microns or 20 microns. As the name suggests here, in centralized grinding, the component is not mount between centers. The component is not a component of workpiece is not mount between centers. You'll understand once I show the diagram, and that's why it is called as the centerless grinding machine. The component is not hold between center. Remember, and that's why it is called as the centerless grinding. What are the advantages of centerless grinding? High production. Even though high precision is said here, it is not as precise as your earlier methods of cylindrical grinding and internal grinding. Generally, it is employed for small diameter. You'll come to know why. Longer workpieces can be, grind very easily. Hmm. These are some applications like roller bearings, piston pins, engine camshafts, hmm, but all limited to smaller size. Generally, we use it for the pins and for the shafts. Again, in centralized grinding, you have external centralized grinding and internal centralized grinding. Again, normally we don't use internal centralized grinding because of the limitations on the grinding wheel, as I said. So most of the time, by default, centralized grinding are external. Hmm. And as I said, the workpiece is not hold between center, and that's why it is called as the centerless grinding. Hmm. You have three types in external centerless grinding: through feed, in feed, and end feed. So through feed means the component is loaded from one side and then it comes out from the other side. That's what it is called the through feed. And how and why it happens? See, I'll show you the diagram of centralized grinding. In centralized grinding, the component is hold. Hmm? Our component is loaded between two grinding wheels. And if one of the grinding wheel is tilted at an angle, then that gives the feed to the workpiece. And that is what is called the through feed. So the operator, he has to just load the component from one side and then it is fed automatically because of the angle given to the grinding wheel. Then you have infeed. Hmm. So infeed method is used for work with the portion, like suppose you have two diameters. One is say diameter 10, another is diameter 15. That is, you have steps. You have say 4 5 steps on the workpiece which is to be ground. So that time you go for the infeed. And end feed is used only for the taper work. And remember, we always follow this through feed. How the workpiece is supported in case of internal, it is supported between two support rolls and another is control wheel. I'll show you the diagram. Hmm. And then grinding occurs opposite to the control. There are two wheels in centralized grinding. One is called the grinding wheel and another is called as the regulating wheel. Regulating wheel, it regulates. As I said, the regulating wheel is tilted at an angle so that your component or your workpiece moves. Regulating wheel is also called as the control wheel because it controls the workpiece. It controls the workpiece. This is what the diagram of centralized grinding is. There are some more diagrams. I will hold it for a while so that you'll get a grip. I'll explain slowly also. All these are external centerless grinding. First thing to be noted. This is how the machine will look like, which is of less importance because you cannot draw this in examination. In the examination, definitely you can draw this. Again, not 3D, you can draw 2D also, or rather you must draw 2D diagrams. This is your workpiece. These are the two grinding wheels. One is bigger and another is smaller. This is called the workpiece rest V type or workpiece rest blade or work rest blade. This V type component on which the operator will load the component. Eh, हाँ, हाँ, ज़रा So you have grinding wheel and regulating wheel. This is the grinding wheel and this is the regulating wheel. See, now look at this grinding wheel and rotating regulating wheel. The direction of rotation will be same. See, if this is now, if you look in this direction, and if this is rotating in clockwise direction, your workpiece will obviously rotate in anti-clockwise direction, and then this will rotate in clockwise. So direction of rotation of grinding wheel and regulating wheel is same. Regulating wheel is also called as the control wheel. And if you see carefully here, there is no drive given to the workpiece. The workpiece rotates because it is held between these two wheels. And if you look carefully, the control wheel or the regulating wheel is tilted at an angle. Now, since it is tilted at an angle, this workpiece can move like this. So the loading will be from here. You have to load the workpiece here. How the cycle is? The regulating wheel is only tilted. Grinding wheel can move like this in this direction. So when the cycle begins, that time the grinding wheel is little away from the workpiece. Your component is kept or your workpiece is loaded on the V block by operator. Then grinding wheel is pushed inside, and moment it touches the workpiece will start rotating, and as the regulating wheel is tilted at an angle, the workpiece also moves in this direction. Once it then there is a kind of a arrangement for collecting the workpiece, hmm, with the felt or some soft pieces kept below or kept inside the tray. Generally, the workpiece is held by the hand. Why? Because if it falls down, then workpiece is going to get damaged. Even the finish will also get damaged. So it is generally held by hand and then kept inside the bin. Then the grinding wheel is retracted back. This remains at its position. This is only tilted. Then next cycle begins. That is, you are keeping the workpiece. Then grinding wheel comes in. Then the workpiece moves slowly. Hmm. Then operator uh, will remove the workpiece. Will keep it in the bin. Then grinding wheel is retracted back, and so on. Hmm. This is an example of plunge grinding in centerless grinding. See, look, the workpiece is not mounted between center or in a chuck. That's why it is called the centerless. Again, there is no need to give centers, no need to drill centers on the workpiece. This is plunge grinding, centerless grinding. So you have a regulating wheel here and your grinding wheel which is fed inside. This is the end stop. End stop is just to locate the workpiece in the axial direction. And this is your internal centerless grinding. In internal centerless grinding, look carefully. This is what is your workpiece is, and this is your grinding wheel. This is the regulating wheel, and these are your pressure roll. Internal centerless grinding is bit complicated. Just have a look and try to understand. This is workpiece, and this is your grinding wheel. Yeah, grinding wheel. This is grinding wheel which is mounted on a grinder shaft. So setup in case of internal centerless grinding is not as simple as your external centerless grinding. And again, it is advisable to grind smaller holes because as I have been telling again and again, mm, see, this grinder shaft will have some diameter. This grinding wheel will have some diameter. So that will definitely impose, limitation on the internal diameter of the workpiece to be ground. huh. Imagine now, suppose if you want to grind, say, 5 mm, the bore or the hole size is 5 mm. It cannot be done on centralized grinding because suppose if you want to grind 4 mm hole, then your grinding wheel has to be 4.5 or maybe less than that. Depends what is the size of the hole which you have drilled. Maybe 4 mm. Then if the 4 mm hole is drilled, which is to be finished to 5 mm, then your grinding wheel has to be still lower than 4 mm, maybe 3.8, and then the 3.8 has to be ground on a shaft. So what will be the size of the shaft? 2 mm. So very delicate. So that's why we avoid doing very small holes. And again, for the small holes, you have special machine that is called the jig grinding. So the setup of the internal centralized grinding is like this. So you have a regulating wheel or control wheel. Then you have two pressure holes, which are now these two pressure holes rolls and this regulating wheel. They are holding, locating, and supporting your workpiece. Hmm. And then grinding wheel is fed inside, and then the depth of cut is given. Remember, generally in grinding operations, the depth of cut are very small, usually 10 microns or 20 microns. Hmm. Not like zero point 0.1, zero point 0.2 or 1 mm, 2 mm. Hmm. Generally, we give 1 mm, 2 mm depth of cut on lathe machine or milling machine. Huh? But forget about 1 mm, 2 mm, you cannot use zero point 0.1 also. Hmm. Normally, we give 50 microns cut, depth of cut. This is what the diagram you have to draw it in the examination. You can show this, workpiece rest as V type. The workpiece is loaded. Then this is a regulating wheel which is rotating clockwise. So this will rotate clockwise. So workpiece will rotate anti-clockwise. Hmm. Now this is the side view of this diagram. Hmm. It is slightly confusing because it is drawn little closer. So you can draw it little away. Hmm. This is the direction of the workpiece movement. This direction. Regulating wheel is always smaller than the grinding wheel. Generally, the grinding wheels are 1 feet in dia, that is 300 millimeter or 30 centimeter, and regulating wheel is generally half of this. And regulating wheels are tilted at an angle, this this alpha, so that your workpiece moves in this direction. Now you must have been surprised that why sir is telling that centerless grinding machine is not as precise as external cylindrical grinding. Look here now. What happens in centerless grinding? Say this is the stock. Say dotted line is there. Okay, and earlier stock is this. Like suppose this diameter to be finished is say 10 mm. So obviously my initial size will be 10.5 or 10.6. So what is the grinding allowance? It is 0.3 millimeter per side. 0.3 millimeter per side. Now the component is say loaded. So initially, suppose if the center lines are matching, hmm, initially the center lines are matching, uh, then what happens as we do grinding and as it gets ground and as the diameter is getting reduced and reduced and reduced, what happens? This center line of the workpiece drops, isn't it? I hope you can understand. So now it is never in the center line of the grinding wheel and regulating wheel. It continuously changes. Center line keeps on dropping. Center line of the workpiece keeps on dropping. as we go on doing the grinding. It is never remains same because the diameter is getting reduced. I hope you are understanding. So the center line keeps on, dropping, and it is never turned, about the center line. So you will get a kind of a ovality as the center lines are not in the same line. So if you magnify the components which are done on the centerless ground, you will always see oval components. Of course, there are measures, remedial measures, but that is laborious. So what we do, we raise this workpiece blade little up in the beginning. Like suppose if my component size is say 10 finished size, and raw material size, that is with the allowance, it say it is 10.6. So we raise this workpiece blade by zero point 0.3 in such a way, or we adjust this workpiece blade in such a way that initially when you are loading the component, it is loaded 0.3 millimeter up, 0.3 millimeter up, so that finally when it is being ground finished diameter to 10 that time the center line of these matches and the ovality goes off. So this is what the trick which is followed in order to overcome that ovality. Then I hope you are understood this. Then we have surface grinding. Hmm. Surface grinding में the wheel periphery is used. Wheel periphery. Hmm. Again, it is commonly used. Again, it is important from examination point of view. Hmm. So as I told, it's reciprocating workpiece or rotating workpiece, that is reciprocating table, horizontal spindle and vertical spindle. Then you have rotating table and horizontal spindle and vertical spindle. Workpiece is supported on magnetic chucks most of the time in case of surface grinding, because as the name says, like centerless grinding, what the name indicates, no centers. Surface grinding means what? What the name indicates, the surface is to be ground. Surface. Hmm. So the top should be clear. There should not be any clamps. Huh? There should not be any clamps. So that's why your workpiece is mounted on a magnetic chuck. Magnetic chuck. It can be clamped mechanically also, but then you have to see that the clamps are not protruding above the surface of the workpiece. Above the surface of the workpiece. So this is your reciprocating table. Table is reciprocating, and spindle. This spindle is horizontal. Spindle is horizontal. And this is how your rotary table and vertical spindle. The spindle is vertical and rotary table. See, there are so many workpieces which are kept. So many workpieces which are kept. Of course, this can be done on the horizontal spindle and reciprocating table also. But rotary table and vertical spindle is much faster than the first option which I told. Hmm. This is the diagram of the surface grinding which I have shown you earlier. Uh, So table is reciprocating here, and this is the spindle, horizontal spindle. Mm. This is what is your rotary table, and which is used for mass production. Mm. And then we have grinding wheel parameter, that is how to specify the grinding wheel. Mm. So from the examination point of view, every slide is important of this presentation. Mm. Grinding wheel parameters, how to specify the grinding wheel, that is also important. The weightage for this is almost 10 marks, minimum, or we can say minimum 10 marks. and it can be as high as 15 mark also. So you better don't put in option. So we will start these Gandy wheel parameters tomorrow. So if you have any doubt, you please ask. Otherwise, you can leave it, leave the meeting. Sahil, you joined late or what? I was calling you. Hmm. Are you there, Sahil? And we will use the same link so that you don't have to search.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, yes, Sahil. We will use the same link as requested by you on behalf of the class. Huh? I was
Okay,
calling.
sir. Okay.
I was calling you in the morning. Hmm.
Sir, I woke up late actually.
Woke up late. This is the advantage of online lectures. Great advantage, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
sir. I woke up by
yeah,
your call and
you can
then
be
saw.
yeah. Wake up call.
Yeah, sir.
So you
Thank you
can be
for
ready.
waking me
Yeah,
up today.
yeah. So in 5-10 minutes you can be ready. Otherwise, if it is offline, then traveling and this getting ready, uh, 1-2 hours it takes.
All
Anyway,
right, sir.
yeah. Hmm. So I honored your request. Yours means class ka, and I'll be using the same link. All right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Most welcome.